We just came off a 3-day warm-up. My rink had half an inch of water sitting on top of the ice. Then the forecast changed. 10 inches of snow incoming with a blizzard warning. Most people would panic and try to clear that water before the snow buried it. I did the opposite. I walked away and let the cold do the work for me. In this video, I'm going to show you why patience is your best strategy when slush gets buried under heavy snow, and exactly how to handle it the smart way. Here's the situation I was facing. Half an inch of liquid water on my rink from 3 days of warm weather. Then a blizzard incoming. Now, the air temperature was dropping fast, down to 17 degrees Fahrenheit. That's minus 8 degrees Celsius for my Canadian and European friends watching. Shout out to Canada. My first instinct, get out there immediately and squeegee or shovel off the water before the snow buried it. But here's why I did not do that. First, I'd be working in blizzard conditions, cold, exhausting, and pretty much miserable. Second, that water is going to freeze anyway. Fighting it while it's liquid and slushy, soupy doesn't make any sense. And third, I discovered something interesting about how the snow affected the slush temperature. I'll show you that in a minute. So I made a decision. I'm going to let the snow pile up, let the water freeze solid underneath, and then deal with it once the storm is over. Here's how that worked out and what you should do if you ever face this situation. So what actually happens when you bury slush under 10 inches of snow? Here's the process. As the snow accumulates, the weight presses down on that water layer. At the same time, the temperature is dropping. The air temperature was 17 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 8 degrees Celsius. But here's what's interesting. I measured the slush temperature under the snow and it was sitting at 29 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 2 degrees Celsius. That snow acts like insulation. But even with that insulation, the combination of weight plus the cold will force the slush to freeze solid over the next 12 hours. Now, is it going to freeze perfectly smooth? No. It's going to be bumpy and uneven, but here's the key. Bumpy, frozen slush is way easier to deal with than liquid, soupy, heavy slush. All right, storm's over. We got our 10 inches. Time to see what we're working with. And hey, if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I put out new backyard rink testimonials every week, and I'd love to help you with your rink this winter. All right, let's get to work. The next morning, here's what we're looking at. The rink is completely covered with snow. Now, we're just gonna start clearing off the skating path here, smaller section, easier to tackle than the large rink. The kids weren't much help with the skating path. They were having too much fun in the snow with the dogs just hanging out. So I took care of the path all by myself. Right now, we're just getting the snow off of the ice. We'll handle the surface quality in the next step, which I'll show you later. Once the skating path is all clear, we moved on to the full rink. And now the boys are actually ready to help. All three of them grabbed shovels. This is where it gets fun. We're all working together, section by section. About halfway through, we're all getting pretty hot and had to take our jackets off. Air temp was even sitting at about 8 degrees Fahrenheit, but shoveling snow will warm you up real quick. And yes, my youngest decided that making faces at the camera was more important than shoveling. But seriously, having all three boys helping me made this go way faster. Total clearing time for the full rink, about 30 minutes with all of us working together. If it were just me, it would have easily been over an hour. Okay, snow's off. Now let's talk about fixing this surface. So here's what we've got. Snow is cleared, surface is still bumpy from that frozen slush layer. And there's actually a few spots that aren't even quite fully frozen yet. As you can see in the little bit different color from the white snow, hard-packed, crusty slush versus this lighter, wet color. So this is exactly what I expected, and this is where the resurface comes in. I'm going to do a light resurface to fill in those bumps and create a smooth skating surface. Let's start with the skating path. The air temp dropping even more. Now we're sitting at 8 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 13 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, with very light layers of water, it's freezing so fast that I can go down the path and come right back during the same flooding session. The ice is already setting up behind me. This isn't quite a full rebuild, it's just a smoothing layer to fill in the uneven spots. And it's still not quite perfect. It will take a few more layers to get it exactly where I want it. But it's a start and it will make it skatable. Same process for the full rink. Taking my time, making sure I get even coverage. This resurface takes about 20 minutes of actual work. Then we just need to wait for it to freeze. One thing I learned, don't rush the resurface. There was a few spots that were extra rough from the frozen slush, and I threw on some extra water on top, and that turned out to be a bad decision. The extra water didn't quite fully freeze and it made like the shell ice. So I had to scrape all that off and then relayer a light layer on top of that again. All right, here's the payoff. Skating path ready to go. Almost glass smooth, but it works. The kids are out here having a blast. Here's the full rink, same result. Pretty smooth, skatable ice. From half an inch of slush buried under 10 inches of snow to skating ice. Total work time was about an hour between clearing and resurfacing. And most importantly, kids are happy. And that's what this is all about. Here's what you need to remember if you ever face this situation. Patience saves time. Fighting liquid slush in a blizzard would have taken hours of miserable work. But waiting for it to freeze and then clearing, about an hour total, and I stayed warm until the storm passed. Also, get the family involved. My boys helped me clear the rink in about 30 minutes. Solo, that would have taken over an hour. Plus, they're invested in the rink when they help, even if one of them is more interested in making faces at the camera than shoveling. If this helped you out, hit that subscribe button. I put out new backyard rink content every few weeks. Coming up next, I've got what to do to get ready for a backyard skating party. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.